Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Little Ray's Nature Center. My name is Lee. We have Natalie filming here today. We're up in our outreach room where our animals are kept that we use for our education shows, birthday parties, and so on. So today we have one of my favorite animals. It's one of the ones that I really enjoy talking about because it brings us into such a broad topic, because we have people that are so afraid of snakes and we have people that aren't afraid of snakes. But for the most part, the people that are afraid of snakes, I always get into these conversations is what makes people afraid of animals and why are they afraid? Where did the fear come from? Where did it start? And often things are either passed along from family member to family member. It could be somebody scared you with something when they were younger, or when you were younger and they chased you with a spider or a snake or something, or dad did that or mom did that. And these fears start off and then they kind of escalate as we go through life. So the animal that I chose today, and we're going to give you a little bit more of an insight, not just into the animal, but also on what we do on a daily basis. So Nelly and myself do majority of the animal care here at Little Ray's Nature Center. And so we're in the habitats on a daily basis, cleaning, feeding, watering, checking, making sure the animal's in good condition. And we always check and have our habitats well set up. So first we're running here an Exoterra habitat. This is an 1836 by 18, and so here we have our name tag. This is what our animal is. It's on a pull-off tag. So Voldemort is his name. He's a legless lizard, and we have his scientific name, and then we also have this code is for our animal care software package. So we have an animal care software package that we use to record all of the happenings that would normally happen to this animal. You can see we give the animal a nice light on the right hand side of the habitat over there, where he can bask. He has a nice thick substrate because these guys are fossorial. They do spend a lot of time underground. And we have some artificial plants in there, some things to climb on, like a nice piece of wood. And we have a nice big water bowl that gets changed every day or every other day. Now, the interesting thing with these guys is that they're pretty common in the pet trade. But they are an animal that is not commonly bred in captivity or in human care. So what happens with these guys, a lot of them are smuggled in. They get brought in large numbers. They get sold into the pet trade. And it's pretty sad because a lot of them don't end up making it. People purchase these animals because they're fairly cheap, because they are smuggled in. It's a very quick turnover. And a lot of them end up not making it. We're very, very fortunate. The one that we rescued has done fairly well. He's been with us for quite a while now. You'll notice on this side of the habitat, we have our temperature ranges. So we have 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit on the cool side of the habitat. We have 90 to 95 Fahrenheit on the warm or basking side of the habitat. And then we also have a UVB reading. So 1 to 3 UVB reading. And that's what we use. So we're running these guys on a mercury vapor self-ballasted bulb. And that's an 80 watt bulb in this one. That gives us the ideal temperature that we need for this animal to be able to thermoregulate, moving in and out of the light and the heat, not only to get the UV rays, but also to warm him and cool himself down. Now, these guys, when you have them in a human care, you'll notice that he is hiding right now, but he's quite interesting because this guy is doing so well, and he's got so used to having people around that he even comes out when we go into the habitat because he wants to eat. Now, these guys have got a pretty good feeding response. You can see he's kind of responding to my fingers right over here. They look like little baby mice wiggling in front of him, so he kind of comes out to it. But in the wild, these guys will eat snails, they'll eat bugs, they'll eat worms, they'll also eat small rodents that they come across. So they're pretty interesting. But now, as we were talking earlier, so I'm going to bring this guy out so we can see what he looks like. He's quite interesting. Funny looking animal, considering. But when we bring this lizard out, we notice that he has no legs at all. And that's why he's one of my favorite animals to bring out for people, because I always ask people, what are you really afraid of when it comes to a snake? And people can't pinpoint. Some people say it's the way they move. Some people say it's because they got no legs. There's a whole variety of things. So what it comes down to with people really is that we're good with animals with 2 legs or 4 legs. Anything with no legs or too many legs, we kind of become a little bit more fearful of. Now, this legless lizard over here is called the European legless lizard. If this was a snake and not a lizard, because at first looks, people go, oh no, that's a snake for sure. And that's when I bring these guys out. But if you look at the head of the snake, of the lizard, on the back side of the head over here, you see tiny little hole. Here's one on the other side. Those are the lizard's external ears. So they have the ear opening where they can hear boreal sounds or airborne sounds like crickets flying over or grasshoppers flying or people talking or things being moved around. They also have movable eyelids. So they can open and close their eyes when they awake or close them when they're sleeping. Whereas snakes have the inner ear, but they don't have the external ear opening. And snakes have that fused eyelid or closed scale over the eye, right? The other difference, which is not really visible to us, is the in the head or the skull of this lizard, he's made up of two bones. They have the main skull structure like we have, and they have the lower mandible or jawbone. On snakes, it's made up of about 50 loose bones, allowing them to stretch over such large prey items. And then the other side of it, if we're looking at this as a snake, the tail would probably start all the way down around about here and go down to the tip of the tail. Whereas this guy, being a lizard, his tail starts all the way up here. So over half his body length is actually tail, right? So the interesting thing with these guys, well, for defense, they will hiss, they will try bite if they're agitated or upset, but they can practice what they call caudal autotomy, and that's where they can actually lose their tail. The tail can break off if you grab it and they're trying to escape, and the tail will wiggle around in your hand, and or the predator would grab it and the tail will wiggle around. He thinks he's got the lizard, and the lizard can very quickly disappear back underground again. So they're super interesting. They can live up to about 50 years in human care. In the wild, that would obviously be affected due to the fact that there's a high predation rate. Now, you often find these guys moving around during or just after rainfall, because that's when most of their prey items are active, but they do like a nice dry climate, nice sort of grassy, rocky areas that they found in. And as I say, this guy's doing really, really well with us. We've had him for a couple of years now. That he was rescued from someone that had him, and they didn't think he was doing too well. Now the name, there's another name for them called glass lizards as well. Because they how shiny and smooth they look, they kind of look like glass. There was a myth. People thought that if this lizard dropped its tail, the tail could drop on the floor and break into pieces, and then later on, when the danger was gone, would kind of fix itself back together again. But that's just a so. This guy is an adult size. They can get up to about 4.4 or 4.5 feet in length, and they range. Not all of them get that big. That's about the biggest one they can get up to. So this is an adult. He's not going to get a lot bigger than this. And as I say, his name's Voldemort. He likes to eat pinky mice. Nelly does come in and give him some baby mice from time to time. He gets his crickets, super worms, and things like that he lives on, and he gets about 10 to 12 hours a day of sunlight, and then they do have a nocturnal or nighttime differentiation as well. So the lights go out at night. The building is heated in here, so we do maintain a ambient temperature for them. But during the day, when the lights come back on, we get that basking temperature right back up. So it's important for animals like this to experience that day-night cycle. So
yeah, sorry guys, we cut off. I don't know what happened there. I hope everyone's joined back on. But I may have deleted the old video, so sorry if you don't see it back on Facebook.
We'll do another one of these at a later stage, and
yeah.
it's just a little glitch in the system there, but we'll get back onto it. So yeah, just one of those favorite ones. People often come up and want to pet them. We always allow people to have a chance to touch the animal, see what they feel like. They're nice and smooth. They kind of look wet because they are shiny, but they're not wet. The only time this lizard would feel wet would be if he's actually gone through a pool of water and he is actually wet, or if you're a little bit nervous to touch him and you sometimes touch this nice smooth body of the lizard, and you then rub your fingers together and you go, oh, it's kind of wet, but it's not the lizard, it's your fingers that get a little bit clammy when you're afraid to do something. Now you can notice as I'm holding him, he does stick his tail out, his tongue out all the time, and they smell with their tongue just like a snake does. So really, snakes, when we get into it, are actually a specialized group of lizards, and that's how they've kind of lost over time. So even in this species, or in this family right here, we find them sometimes where they have very small limbs on the base of the tail, which are the remains of them, and then over time they've ended up losing them. So it's definitely an interesting little lizard here, and we thought this would be a great one to introduce you guys to. But we hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you've had fun. We thanks for all the support and the followers. We get all our family from all over joining on. We've got people from all over that love to watch the shows. We've actually got Heather in today, who's a new volunteer just came in. And she's been watching our Facebook lives and loves to see all the animals that we work with on a daily basis. So, but just so you guys have a little bit of an insight on how we set our habitats up. We got little Euromastics next door going nice and active with these nice warm weather that he's getting today. It is a little bit cool outside for us. We are having a nice rainy day today. And then what we also do, even when we do animal care, we look at these animals, and if it is raining outside, we will sometimes come in and spray the habitats as well. So because we do have that temperature drop and the atmospheric pressure changes, that these guys do associate with rainfall no matter where they're from. So we try and simulate that and give them a little bit of a spray as well, so that they kind of go through the rainy season. So that's what we do, and monitor them all. So we hope you guys have had fun today. Sorry about the little glitch in the system there, but tomorrow we'll be back. Not tomorrow, we're not in tomorrow, so we'll be back on Saturday. Saturday at 11:30, guys. Actually, we won't be back. It'll be from Costa Rica. Join on at 11 o'clock and watch our staff member down from Costa Rica doing a show from the Monteverde Butterfly Gardens, doing some awesome presentations from down there. I love watching them myself, and we hope you guys enjoy those ones too. And we'll catch up with you guys on Sunday then at 11:30. So if you would like to watch that, we'll be live again on Sunday with another awesome adventure here from Little Ray's Nature Center. From myself, Lee, and Natalie behind the camera there. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you guys soon.